bet money on the Rockets to win, and they're getting fucking killed by the Spurs right now.
Oh, God.
Why would you do that? You know the Rockets suck ass.
Poor Shauna.
Oh my God. Like, the Rockets are just James Harden and a bunch of no ones.
Exactly.
Why would you bet on
well,
them?
Yeah, against the NBA, there's only 3 good teams in the whole league.
Cleveland,
It just
San
says we're
Antonio,
offline. Why?
and the Clippers?
Yet again, I give no shits about the NBA, so...
Yeah, I hear that.
Hey, did you guys hear about the FBI raid that happened today?
No.
Wait, what?
The FBI raids office of a Republican campaign consultant in Annapolis.
Hmm.
You know what that means?
Oh,
It
we
means
are.
literally
Okay.
nothing will change.
Apparently, we're on. Okay.
Okay.
Welcome.
So this is Smark Snark ASMR. I'm your host, Gunnar. And today we're all going to scratch our facial hair because we all are a bunch of neck beards.
Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
Yankum, you should change the icons that show up on the screen to also have our names on them too.
Yeah, if I knew how to do that, I would do that.
Right click next to our names, and then it says hide names.
Oh, hey. Hey, Lamau.
Yeah, Discord's very simple, but sometimes you just don't think of how, like, to do stuff.
Can we get Shao Kana? Can you... I can't change the width of the cell with the names in it. So if you could just pull out the...
That's Gunner. Gunner put all those.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Fix it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now
Yeah,
it's not wrapping off the
changes.
screen. Okay.
Alright, now back to whispering about Charlotte's 10-inch dick.
Jesus Christ, did you see that thing? I'd suck it.
I've been jacking off to it all week. Alright, for real though, where are we here? 257?
257.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Dude, that is a lot.
How many years have we been going now?
5.
Jeez.
Why?
I remember, like, late 2012, early 2013 is when you guys pulled me into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think we should stick with tradition and let's see if we can do a shitty playing of our theme song.
Let's do it.
Oh man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 257 of the Smark Snark podcast. My name is Gunnar, and thank you all for joining us. I'd like to thank podcastthemes.com, first and foremost, for our theme song. And I'd like to thank you all for following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and contributing to the Patreon. Joining us this week, per the usual, is Omega BR.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, my sir.
Oh dang.
What does that sound that... I'm sorry, I know introductions, but can we address the fact that it sounds like he's rubbing his dick on a balloon like next to the microphone?
It was the ASMR that we were doing earlier.
Oh, that's a new ASMR that I was not aware of. Was rubbing your dick on a balloon.
Well, considering that this is your only job, ladies and gentlemen, our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yank of DDS, I'd figure that you'd be more inclined to know about ASMR things, since it's up your alley or something.
No, but I mean, I've rubbed my dick on a balloon, so I recognize the sound. I just didn't expect to hear it in the podcast.
Oh, dear Jesus.
I actually got these balloons in a vending machine in the restroom.
Joining us this week also is Vassar.
Hello.
Speaking of failed balloons from a gasoline station, it's Netchester.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? And you'll excuse me, I'll be eating some carnival food while we're going through the first part. Oh, the animal bride products.
Netchester is currently eating corn dogs. A foot-long corn dog, he informed us. Also, somebody who enjoys having a foot-long meat stick shoved in their mouth, it's Shao Kahn.
Game 7. Where is that sunset, dog? Where is the sunset?
Save us, dog. Tell us where the sunset is.
Well, don't worry. Sooner or later, the sun always sets at dusk.
You mean in the west? That would have been the better line. God damn it.
Although at this point, they're like the only hope of not having a Canadian winner, so I'm kind of torn right now.
Why would the sun set in a duck?
Because they're the Anaheim Ducks. They're in the west.
Quacks like a
It
duck,
makes sense.
quacks like a duck.
Do you not know the jest and the mest and the,
Sweet.
whatever. Yankum's from Indiana. He doesn't understand hockey.
No, he understands shitty basketball.
We play American sports here.
Fuck the Hoosiers.
So you play football and no other professional teams.
We have a professional basketball team.
Well, the Pacers don't really count.
Yeah, they do. We had Reggie Miller. I mean,
Who?
we don't anymore, but we used to have Reggie Miller.
Speaking
And that
of
was good
people
enough.
you want to hang out with, Braun Strowman is in need of elbow surgery, and while it isn't serious, doctors don't know how long he'll be out until it's complete. Emma suffered a shoulder injury at the Liverpool live event and has flown back to the U.S. to be evaluated, and Ember Moon's injury will put her out 4 to 5 weeks, and she will not compete at TakeOver Chicago.
Guess what injury she has?
What does she have?
It would be a shoulder injury.
God damn it.
Again?
Man, it's not even the match yet, and Oscar already murdered someone.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, you could see as soon as she took that one, she dove out of the ring to nothing except hit the floor on NXT, and you could just tell that sucked, and that was probably what caused it. Or if it didn't cause it, it sure as shit aggravated it.
I when I saw her bumping towards the barricade, kind of reminded me of Balor when he fucked his shoulder up, how she hit the wall and everything. You can tell when it fucked her arm up.
I guess the barricades are a little too stiff around the outside. Maybe they should be a little more playpenny, if you would.
A little snug.
Little
softer
snug.
rubber mats outside, you were saying?
Yeah, maybe.
I was never a fan of playpen. Not my bag. Playboy, on the other hand, that's good stuff.
For a second there, I thought he was going Pigpen, and I thought he was going Peanut characters, and then he was going to talk about his
I thought about it, but
love for Peppermint Patty.
look, my unrequited love for lesbians is well known throughout the internet. That's not the fact we're talking about, though. Why are there so many injuries all of a sudden? It seems like it's gotten worse lately. Is that just me?
Yes, I think that everybody got stayed real safe for the WrestleMania season, and now you're going to start seeing people breaking down because it's almost about that time. In a correction, Billy Corgan is not confirmed to be buying the NWA yet, as we reported last week, as the deadline for those papers to be signed was Wednesday, but no word on if they were. The Hardys tried to get Jeremy Borash to come with them to the WWE, as he was an integral part of the Broken Universe production, but he declined due to his many hosting duties.
One of those hosting duties is Howard Stern, and I guarantee you he makes good money on his show.
Absolutely.
I mean, cool on Borash for being loyal, but
It's not even being loyal, it's the money.
Yeah,
it's literally money.
And it's smart, because if you think about it, like, given between the two, and I love wrestling, if I was, a wrestler at all, or had anything to do with wrestling, and could travel 350 days out of the year, or sit in a cushy, studio in New York and broadcast, I'd probably just sit in the studio in New York and broadcast, because fuck being on the road for all but 10 or 15 days a year.
Well, and then part of the reason why he turned it down is because if he signed with WWE, it would be exclusive. He'd have to leave Howard Stern's show. He has other projects that he's been working on with some pretty high-profile Hollywood people. To him, it's definitely a smarter move to stay with those. I mean, Howard Stern is still the biggest thing in radio after all these years, still.
He's the biggest thing in XM radio right now.
What other radio is there, dude?
I listen to the regular radio all the time.
I mean, we're still talking in the millions and millions that Howard Stern's show is bringing in, and I'm sure he's getting more publicity doing Howard Stern than even the WWE.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What Culture Pro Wrestling is doing a live TV show on YouTube starting on June 2nd. It'll be every Friday night at 8 p.m. UK time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern. Dave Meltzer reports that a lot of talent are under the impression that the World of Sport project may not happen at all, given that they haven't announced new tapings and have heard rumblings of it starting up again at the start of next year, leaving ample time for top stars to get signed elsewhere.
So what'd you all think of the first World of Sport?
I liked it. It wasn't too bad. Like the fact that it had JR, and it was okay. It wasn't super big, tremendous, but showed good starting potential.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you. It was okay. Nothing.
Well, that's what Beyond Wrestling did for a while, a long while. I mean, they did it for like between 2011 and but this past year, I think, is when they stopped doing it because of the changes in revenue and whatnot.
Well, yeah, you moved to Twitch.
You've got to understand that YouTube has changed a lot of stuff, and that wrestling is not one of those protected things. So, they would have to get millions of views to make any amount of money. Whereas 100 people paying $15 is $1,500 right there.
Right,
it's purely a matter.
Well, look, you're still getting your door. What I'm talking about is additional revenue, and the YouTube algorithm. And I've researched this a bunch because I'm a nerd, and we do this show. It's based on view time more than views themselves. So you get more for 1,000 people watching for 20 minutes than you get for 10,000 people watching for 30 seconds.
So has that changed any with the changes that just recently happened that everybody's calling the ad-apocalypse?
It's still based on watch time more than anything else. Watch time is what the YouTube algorithm favors. So a wrestling company putting out a 45-minute to an hour show, or a 2-hour show, probably not, but a 45-minute to an hour show on YouTube could theoretically do well if people are watching the whole thing. So I'm not sure why that wasn't like more of a thing for independent companies beforehand. Gunner named one, but I would have thought it would have been more that were doing something.
No, I know that because I think they stopped working with a particular person. But yeah, I mean they did that for the longest time. All right, so you guys want to see the creepiest thing I've seen all week?
But the one other thing that we're not talking about with this quick is, though, the YouTube copyright bots will hone in on just the smallest little thing and
that's true,
and take away all revenue from the video. So I'm sure that has part to do with it, because we know every indie company is using the most mainstream songs possible for entrances.
That's true.
All right, creepiest thing all week. Ready?
Here we go. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh, for those of you who might be listening and not looking.
Okay. So I didn't know there was a new Michael Myers mask out there.
That isn't Michael Myers.
Oh my god! It looks a lot like Michael Myers, though.
Seriously, I want to paint that thing white and wear it around and murder teenagers.
Murder.
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 Seriously,
they have
awful.
So this is from Trick or Treat Studios. Basically, what you're looking at here is a John Cena mask, and it is some of the creepiest masks type things that I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think it's the eyes. I think it's just the eyes.
They have others. They have others.
First of all, we apologize for scaring the piss out of you, Wes. God in heaven, what the hell is that?
That's probably Roddy Piper. I mean, it's good.
A little bit better. Purely because it has the whites of the eyes.
Right.
Still.
That's the problem with that John Cena mask. The fact that the eyes are just a blacked out. I'm making that one of our macros in here. Ooh, nice! I'm buying that. What's the price on that?
It's $40.
$40 for a cane mask, and it looks decent quality there.
There is also hold on. I apologize for interrupting.
See, this should be in the 15-minute time limit since we don't have anything else.
Right, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, so
let's just skip the 15-minute time limit then, and we'll just keep doing this.
Oh, there's like 3 more. Oh my god, there's so much more. Okay. Wait a minute, what is going on here?
We're going to skip the 15-minute time limit. Let's do this for a few minutes, then we'll move on to the rest of the news.
Yeah, because there wasn't really much in Raw or SmackDown to talk about because they both sucked this week.
Well, I'll talk about something. It'll be like a 5-minute thing, and we'll talk about it during the rating. We'll be talking about
the meta. Let's do this.
You ready? You scared?
Let's do this.
Ready for scare? What? What?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Jesus. 3 poopy 5 me.
Sweet Jesus in heaven.
What the actual fuck? Who thought that was a good fucking idea?
Sweet merciful crap.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I clicked on it. Don't click on it. Don't click on it. Don't do it. Why are the teeth... Why? Why?
Oh my god.
Holy
dog, is this the sunset you were talking about?
Why are the teeth like that?
I mean, it's close.
Ooh, I like that Mankind mask as well.
Oh, this is really good.
I think the thing about the Warrior one is the hair. The hair just is weird.
No, it's the teeth. Click on it and then look at the teeth, and you tell me that that's not just horrifying.
Oh, it's transparent, eh? I know a place that could go.
I know a place that could go too. All of these could go there. Please put them all there. Let me know when you're done. All right, last one.
That mankind mask is nice.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Why do they have teeth? It's
a massive improvement.
I know.
You can't see the eyes, so it actually works.
Very much so.
I am mortified.
This is how exciting the world of wrestling is right now, by the way. This is how much is going on.
Right?
I mean, like, okay, so this shop does, like, masks like this. And other creepy stuff, you know. Let's see. Do they have any more World Wrestling Entertainment stuff? I really just want to see. Okay, so we've seen it all. That's everything that they have. This is from Trick or Treat Studios. You can go to their website, trickortreatstudios.com. The Kane mask and the Mankind mask are definitely worth it at $40 each. They're all pre-orders, though. So they're not currently available for shipping. It's just a pre-order. You'll get it later.
But PCMR told me never pre-order.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Boo-de-boo.
Don't. But the people masks, those are fucking creepy. Here, hold on. Let me see if I got the Michael Myers one.
Hold on. I'm turning these into macros. Jesus, this John. Don't click on the John Cena one. Don't do it.
Thank you, Dog, for that refreshing picture.
Well, hey, we're looking at horrifying things.
Clicked on the John Cena one.
Yeah, John Arbuckle and Garfield in a tender embrace horrifies the hell out of me.
Not just Garfield, buff Garfield.
Quote unquote horrifying.
I'm adding these as
there's the Michael Myers.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the John Cena.
Oh, God damn it,
dog. Your eyes are a little bit narrower.
I mean, okay, so give him brown hair, give him the right haircut, make him actually normal skin color, and it's John Cena.
Yeah, you just add a dimple in the chin, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's super creepy.
It's spoopy as fuck.
Super creepy. So apparently, in some other news, there was reportedly a loud argument between Paige and ADR away from the arena during the last set of Impact tapings, but things were said to be fine the next day. Okay, sure. That's not surprising. I expect them to divorce within the next year and a half.
And thus it begins.
Right.
Slow news day.
Yeah.
And John Morrison revealed in an interview that he pitched many things to weeklies to officials, including a tanning bed match between him and Sheamus.
Oh boy,
I would pay
money for that.
That sounds amazing.
These fucking emojis are junk. Sorry.
WooTube size emojis.
It's Discord limits the size of them.
Yeah, I think they do.
Wish Discord would have like a thing where you can make them bigger per server.
Yeah. Alright. Nobody gives a fuck about John Morrison anymore, and I don't expect it to be long until Paige shows up with a black eye. And
shows up where? She hasn't shown up to anywhere in a long time.
Well, no, I mean, just in general, somebody's like, hey, I saw Paige, and she's got a black eye, and a bunch of bruises on her arms, and then maybe one day, a few years later, she comes back, and she's like, hey, Vince, I'm clean, and I was dumb.
That feeling when you're put into the wrestling business way too early.
Yeah.
So what is John Morrison even doing now besides Lucha Underground?
AAA shows occasionally.
Oh. I thought he was doing Gay for Pay.
He's doing that too.
Not to shit on him like as like, oh, gay, but I just mean like I'm insulting him in the manner that he's doing something he doesn't want to do just for money because he's desperate. Because he's a nobody.
Right.
Anyway, 15-minute time limit? Oh, nope. Broadcast is... Oh, wait. Nope. There she is. I thought she crashed on me.
No, I think we're good, apparently. So I mean, like, I just have a few things to talk. I just have one thing to talk about, and it's a Meltzer comment that was brought up. And this is not going to be full 15 minutes. I guarantee you that, because we've all complained about this previously, and I'm going to have, because this is so out of order. Vassar, read the ratings.
Okay.
Oh wait.
No. Let him read. Just let him read the ratings.
Here, drive through.
And now it is time for the ratings. Starting off as usual as TNA Impact with 260,000 viewers, up from the 255 the week previous. On to Raw, 2.696 million, further down from the 2.87 million the week previous. And finally, SmackDown with 2.348 million, up from the 2.3 million last week. And that is it for the ratings.
So,
Raw continues to plummet.
I was just going to ask real quick, does anybody know what that translates to score-wise, like with a rating? Because I
stopped giving a fuck about that a long time ago.
Because I think it's
completely different now than it was. So here's the thing, guys. You want to tell me that between hours 2 and hours 3 that there was a 15% ratings drop? 15%! They're not watching the NBA game. They're not watching YouTube. I mean, this is from Melts. You know, because they're already watching. These people who are turned off the show because they lost interest.
Can you blame them? Raw sucks.
It's not just totally that Raw sucks, although that's a major part of it. It's the fact that it's 3 hours long. It's incredibly hard to keep an audience for that. It's hard to keep an audience for an hour, let alone 3.
Well, especially 3 hours of a bad show. I mean, 3 hours for a weekly show is insane already. Good or bad.
Yeah, it's just the simple fact that they can't keep up with it, and it's quite obvious that they're. So you're blaming Vince. Anything creative is Vince, because Vince is the final say, and Vince is the person that you talk to when you're talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not the wrestlers. The wrestlers are great. There's a lot of really good talent right now. There's no reason for Raw to be bad, except that the way things are being written and booked is garbage.
I will say this. Right now in WWE, they probably have the best roster they've ever had right now, but probably some of the worst booking they've ever had. Well, aside from Vince Russo, but, well, that's pretty hard to top.
Well, even Russo, who is like, the George Lucas of wrestling, not all of his stuff is bad.
Why did you do that? No.
What?
No. He's not the George Lucas of wrestling.
Okay, hold on. Hear me out. So, if Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6 are Lucas with a filter, there are other people around telling him, no, that's not good, let's not do that, let's do this, and working with him to contain the garbage, it's really good, right? And then you get episodes 1, 2, and 3, which are George Lucas unfiltered, him just doing whatever the fuck he wants, and those are terrible, right? It's the same thing. Yeah. Vince Russo with a filter can come up with some good stuff that can be worked into some brilliant storytelling. Vince Russo without filtering is WCW 2000, 2001. It's the same thing.
To an extent, maybe I can agree with that. The only thing about Vince Russo that I'd like to say is he had some excellent collaborators, as George Lucas did on his first trilogy, so maybe I can see it that way.
That's what I'm saying.
I think in terms of them being, in terms of the creative, they're very creatively poor at the moment. look at something like 205 Live, just for example. 205 Live is like the 8th or 9th stories going on. I mean, at least they make an attempt at some things, like for example with Kendrick and Tozawa, and being the teacher and the lessons and everything. But I don't know. I feel like they have so much to worry about. I don't know if it's a matter of, even with Star Wars, I mean, to go back to your analogy, not everything had to be run straight through Lucas for him to say yes or no. And that's essentially how WWE works, where everything has to be run through Vince for him to say yes or no. And if the answer is no, then, it doesn't matter how little or how much you worked on it, it's scrapped. And then you kind of go back to the drawing board. So I feel like they just have too much to worry about in terms of making, and supposedly they have this big writing staff. People make jokes about it all the time. 50,000 writers. This is what they came up with. But I think you need to focus certain people on certain aspects and build programs in advance. I feel like the most advanced thinking they do is that Roman Reigns is going to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34, and that's it. I mean, and maybe what they're going to do at SummerSlam, and that's essentially as far as they go. And then week to week they have to fill in those gaps, and that's why you get segments that just kind of draw on, and Miz
and the same matches over and over again, right?
Or how about the Alicia Fox angle that I don't think is even done with yet?
God, why?
Not only is it bad, but it's gone forever, especially when it's the only major angle on that show half the time.
And then she had a match on Raw, which lasted, 3 minutes with Banks and meant nothing.
And was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made Banks look bad. Look at SmackDown. I could cherry pick any number of segments. I mean, what about when poor Sami Zayn is trying to pump up. He's in the main event. He's in a 6-man tag. He's trying to pump up Orton and AJ. And he's getting all excited, and the camera zooms out, and they just left. I mean, how goofy does that make Sami?
Right. And how are we supposed to get excited if arguably two of the biggest stars on SmackDown, not even arguably, just flat out, two of the biggest, if not the two biggest stars on SmackDown, if they don't give a shit, why should I give a shit?
What does it say when the best thing going on right now in wrestling, or at least on WWE television, is the Fashion Police gimmick?
What does it say that the Fashion Police are getting a massive push and American Alpha hasn't been on TV in how many weeks now?
Don't they have an injury?
That's a big thing.
Don't they have an injury? One of them?
Nope.
Yeah, I think
That's Revival.
Yeah.
No, I knew one of the guys from the Revival had an injury. I thought one of the guys from
Alpha is fine.
Well, then
Alpha's fine. They lost to who did they lose to the other week? They lost to the Usos again, I think, wasn't it?
Why?
I don't remember them being on TV at least in a couple of weeks. Maybe they were part of that tag team turmoil, and I just completely forgot.
No, you know what? They lost. It was the beat the clock thing, I think.
Oh God, yeah,
and
you're right.
The Fashion Police ended up beating the Ascension real fast, and that was it, I think.
I think that's part of the issue, is that it's not just that they don't have any good ideas. They're not spacing out their talent very well. They moved a lot of people over to SmackDown, and they have an hour less to fill. They probably should have had another tag team over on Raw, and maybe like another single star over to Raw. They just don't have enough time on SmackDown to have all these different divisions. And SmackDown actually pushes the women's division and makes it a big deal and lets it take up time. So you need less talent to fill up the 2 hours than you would with the 3, and they just haven't spaced it out.
That's not bad. It's better than Raw's division right now.
True.
But even that's a little bit screwy, because you have basically the faces versus the heels, the welcoming committee. You have Charlotte, who is on the face side, but she's still acting heelish. Which, to be fair, that's what Rick did a lot of the time when he was a face.
Right.
But still, it kind of, you're kind of building towards Charlotte and Naomi, even though you can have this conflict. It just feels like they try. That's another thing. They do so little, and yet they cram so much nothing into these segments. Where like just keep it simple. Just have it faces versus heels, and then when that's over, stretch it out when that's over. Push it again towards Charlotte and Naomi. Or it's like when all these storylines kind of combine, like on Raw when you had Miz and Ambrose as Koji.
They're trying to do this booking that's like the Attitude Era, because everybody said, and I think maybe 6 months ago when we had this conversation, I believe that people were saying, "Oh my God, if the Attitude Era was so good, because everybody had a storyline and everybody had this and everybody interacted with everybody else," and they're trying to do that now and they're executing poorly. And that is the big problem here, because everybody's just in a muck and they're in these primordial ooze because they're in the WWE, and you can't really shine brighter than the WWE, even though the WWE only shines as bright as its brightest stars, and they can only get their brightest stars because Vince chose their brightest stars, as opposed to getting over themselves. Looking at you, Daniel Bryan. Tell me when I'm wrong. Stop me when I don't make sense.
Well, that's always been my argument, is that everybody on the Attitude Era had a clear character and storyline and stuff, and maybe it wasn't quite as good as I remember, but I mean, it goes deeper than just having a storyline. You have to have an actual story. You can't just have the line,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, look at Aiden English, who's lost to Ty Dillinger twice, and then he literally cries after his match, and then neither one of them was on the show this week. So I mean, that's not a storyline. That's just doing something with them.
We talk a lot of shit about Vince Russo, and rightfully so, no doubt about that. But the one thing that he was always really, really good at, and I've noticed this kind of as he's moved on to TNA and things like that, he's able to put together storylines for essentially everyone on the roster. And if it's not a storyline, it's something that makes them stand out. Like, you think back to the Attitude Era, and Val Venus was just this ridiculous character. He was never a world title contender, but I guarantee you we remember more moments that Val Venus had in like 2000 and 1999 than any other time in his career, because he was involved in these ridiculous over-the-top storylines, but at least he was doing something, and it meant something,
Well, and
Which is the point
meant something, meh. But I'll tell you what
True.
it was. It was entertaining, and it was good. And that's what WWE is not right now. It's not entertaining, and it's not good. And
because WWE is more concerned about being a brand in and of itself than they are of actually letting people shine. Because they saw what happens when they let people shine and they get too big. The Rock, Cena to a certain extent, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's the biggest problem that you notice is the fact that they're afraid of letting their people spin off. I mean, they don't want to be Saturday Night Live, where the comedians from Saturday Night Live spin off to do something else that's greater. I mean, that hasn't happened since the 2000s, but you know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting point, especially considering that they're working on all this stuff for the network, and they've got, the Swerved, and then this R-Truth game show that's coming up, and things like that. It's obvious they want to attempt to use their talent for something. I just feel like they don't know what to do at this point.
I think it's that they want their talent to do things, but they only want it to be with them, so that they're the only ones making money off of it.
Well, I think what it is really is that they book a wrestling program for everything except the wrestling. I think, honestly, who cares if they have a good match or not? Because if it leads to, for example, merchandise sales, or let's look at Jinder Mahal in the main event of a pay-per-view, that's designed to get them over in India better, and have India buy more merch, and have India, do this and that. I mean, it's not necessarily about having a good match between him and Orton. They could have a god-awful match, quite frankly, but as long as it achieved that goal, or even, booking next year's Mania in advance. That's where all this booking with Strowman and Reigns has been going, and then Strowman and Lesnar, which, by the way, is basically off for the time being because Strowman's hurt. So now they're kind of... It's not that they don't have options, obviously, Rollins and Balor, but But again, that's where they fall into this whole, our flimsy plan is destroyed now. So what are we going to do?
Dude, and I've been saying this for years. WWE has this issue where they think they can only make one star at a time, and every other piece of media in the world right now is proving the exact opposite.
Exactly.
They need to be making
Game of Thrones. I mean,
sorry, man, but I gotta go real quick. I just want to throw that one non sequitur out there. Did you hear the Melts on YouTube and on his podcast saying the reason that Aiden English had his nervous breakdown during WWE SmackDown Live is because somebody had the brilliant idea of mocking Morrow through the proxy of what's his name?
Yeah, I don't know if that's bullshit or not. If it isn't bullshit, if they're really making fun of him, then, fuck them.
From major stories and publications about you bullying people and saying stupid shit. It's just shocking.
Well,
yeah, plus I think talking about ISIS and Sami Zayn in the same sentence is pretty bad. Yeah, especially considering Sami's background and where he's from and his entire life story.
Not even that, but just, you're burying one of your... I know he's the heel announcer, not that, he's been heelish the past couple of weeks for the obvious reasons. But, way to bury one of your... Between that and the segment on SmackDown where, Sami's such an attaboy and everybody's annoyed by him, I mean, way to bury the guy and his character. And that's why I don't like bring it to the table in the first place. I mean, you've got the one straight man, and then you've got two heel announcers.
Right, the mix is wrong.
Basically telling him he's wrong. And, it's supposed to be like an actual opinion show, and it's basically just the heels going, no, you're wrong, the company's great.
Right. It really should have someone other than JBL there, and it should be somebody who is a face, I think.
It should be the show should be David Otunga, Booker T, and Byron Saxton.
No, Otunga's the guy who's there just kind of like as a fan. Then you have your heel, and then you have your baby face, and the heel sits there and he acts ridiculous and not fucking idiot JBL ridiculous.
Let's get. We've completely sidetracked here. I'm going to ask one more question. And we're going to wrap this up because this was way too long. We're going to go down the line here, and I want you to honestly say, who do you give a fuck about in the WWE right now? And I'm going to start with you, Yanko. Give me people you actually care about.
You mean that I care about as characters right now, or just because like these people are awesome wrestlers?
Right now, when you turn on the television and when you're watching Raw and you stop and watch this person on Raw.
Well,
you could say no one if no one comes to mind immediately.
Nobody's popping in my head. Nobody is like, man, I get so fucking excited.
That's
Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman's now out, so it's just Alexa.
Shao Kahn.
Are we talking just Raw or all shows?
All shows.
I know it's an obvious answer, but honestly, Asuka.
I agree. I agree with that one. And then Save Us Dog.
All I can think of is Braun. That's it. I just don't give a shit about anyone else. And even some of the people that are doing well, it's hard to care.
Omega?
I think they did what they set out to do with Braun and make him a player and make him an important part of the show. It hasn't been perfect, but I feel like if you're going to do those things, it's to put somebody over big, and that's what they've done. And then I think they're doing a good job with Alexa for the most part, even though the Raw division is in shambles at the moment. I think AJ and Owens are who coincidentally are having a match, are pretty good where they're at. And beyond that, certain little pockets of things that sort of spring up, like when they decide to let the fashion police have these segments, as silly as they are, they're entertaining. I mean, they get the gimmick over, they get them over, considering they have a tag title match. But the bulk of the show, it's kind of like what I've said in the past. It's a 3-hour show, and they book it as if it's a 45-minute show,
right?
And the rest is just like, whatever.
The only other name, I agree with all of Omega's points, and I believe that I have the exact same ones. But the only other name that I want to add to that list is Baron Corbin, because he's actually, just as Braun, has impressed me the most in the past year.
Me personally, he's better than what he should be, or what I expected him to be, but he's not. Like, I expect him to be a 3, and he's like a 5 or a 6. But he's not quite the 8 or 9 or 10 that they want him to be.
Right. Not yet, at the very least. And that's my point. And we just went through the line of people on the show today, and who do you care about? Braun, Alexa, and that's it. We don't care about Brock, your WWE champion. We don't care about Orton, the WWE champion, and or Brock, the Universal champion. Fuck that fruit roll-up belt, right? I mean,
there's a Universal title? I did not notice.
I mean, nobody said Finn.
So.
Nobody said Finn. Nobody said Seth. Nobody said Dean. Nobody said Joe. Nobody said. I'm trying to think of people on SmackDown.
I will say this about Finn, is that he's basically the only chance that people have to not get Roman shoved down our throats. He's the only guy that's any good that they'll actually consider possibly really pushing strong. But I still don't care.
You know what? I would have said some of those names, including Nakamura, but a lot of those guys, it's not that you don't care, it's just they're all sort of in a state of flux right now, where, okay, Joe lost to Rollins, and Nakamura is being kept out of the ring so he can have his big debut against Ziggler, which they better have a great match.
But even if they're outside of the ring, I should care about them. I should care that Nakamura is going to kick the shit out of Ziggler at the pay-per-view. I should care now about that.
You
know what else sucks?
I care in the sense that they better have a good match.
I don't care. I don't care at all.
4 weeks of TV leading up to it, I don't care about.
Right. So it's like this. SmackDown actually made me give a shit about The Miz, right, for like a year. And now he's already on Raw, and it's like, well, I am back to not caring.
I can see exactly where Shaq is saying that, because The Miz was made to be something on SmackDown, and the moment he left SmackDown, he was nothing.
I think like AJ Styles, like what he said it best. SmackDown makes him, Raw takes him, and now it's like we wait for see how long that Raw squanders the talent SmackDown built for almost a year.
Well, again, it's this idea that all the entire Raw mid-card is such a lottery machine right now. It's like they're all in flux. It's like they're all mixed together. It's, what's the storyline? Throw Wyatt in there, too.
Here's the main problem with Raw. See, you gotta, no matter what, all this cool stuff you might do, no matter how many good matches you have, but with the way they book it, nothing matters because you're just going to get fed to their top guy, and their top guy, if you like it or not, is Roman. So in the end, nothing matters.
So basically, we have a guy who isn't as over as Hulk Hogan, who's keeping the rest of the roster down like Hulk Hogan.
Damn. That's an understatement if I've ever heard one. Yeah, he's not anywhere near as over as Hulk Hogan. He's not anywhere near as over as Bret Hart was in the mid-90s.
Right.
This is probably, I mean, we look at 95 and they had real low ratings, but still Bret Hart was a well-known name. Shawn Michaels was a well-known name. I guarantee you if you run up to people on the street, they're not going to know who Roman Reigns is. They might know who John Cena is, but that's about it.
They'll know John Cena, and that's about it. Yes. right, that's it. Screw this. God damn it. Fuck WWE, fix your shit. That's all I gotta say. Fix your shit.
Better get watch Best of the Super Juniors and that kick-ass A block of unbelievable fucking talent.
At least New Japan rarely disappoints me.
Birthdays, dog.
Alrighty. Happy birthdays a few days ago on the 7th. To the new face of America, Kevin Owens. To Madman Muir. To Will Ospreay. To Tavita Fafita. To Owen Hart. Ray Fernandez. And Natsuki Tayo. Or Tayo. I said the same thing twice. Happy birthdays to all you, and rest in peace, Owen Hart. We love you still. Happy birthdays on the 8th to Tommaso Ciampa, Truth Martini, Richie Adams, Akabono Taro, Kayla Lynn, Io Shirai, and Akira Taue, and Takayuki Okada on the 8th. On the 9th, a couple of days ago, Billy Fives, Kevin Kelly himself, Mr. ROH announcer, Flip Kendrick, Yuiga, which I probably fucked up, YUIGA? I have no idea. Shinya Aoki, Mike Shaw, Erden Bieligan, Balorma. I tried my best. Happy birthdays to all y'all on the 9th. Happy birthday yesterday to William Regal, Seymour Snot, Humberto Garza Jr., Ferry Bell, Klondike Kate, Jerry Brown, and Tito Santana yesterday. Belated happy birthdays to y'all. And then happy birthday today to the one, the only, the NXT champion, the glorious Bobby Roode. Also to Lindsay Dorado, Daisy Hayes, Air Paris, Fuego Dorado, Paul Diamond, Billy Kidman, and Mark Rocco. A hell of a lot of great birthdays today on this 11th of May. And then also happy birthdays tomorrow, Doug Basham, Ricky Ortiz, Jacob Hammermeyer, Yujiro Kushida, Tomokazu Taniguchi, and Kaho Kobayashi. And then finally, 2 days from now on the 13th, Jimmy Wang Yang, Chip Stetson, Scarlett Bordeaux, Gian Durso, Humongous, Glacier, Ray Lloyd, and Dennis Rodman, the one and only. Happy birthday a few days from now on the 13th. Those are the birthdays.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend, wrestling history took a 1954 where Rocky Brown and Leo Nomalini defeat Ben and Mike Sharp to win the San Francisco NWA World Tag Team title in San Francisco, California, ending the Sharps' 8th reign. Jump to 1984 where NWA World Champion Kerry Von Erich pinned Ric Flair in a non-title match in Dallas, Texas in the main event of World Class Championship Wrestling event at around the 11:30 mark with an abdominal stretch into a roll-up. After the bout, Flair attacked Von Erich, but the champion eventually gained the upper hand and cleared Flair from the ring. And in 1999, Deborah defeated Sable for the WWF Women's title in a very unusual manner during a Raw from Orlando, Florida. Nicole Bass subbed for Sable in an evening gown match in Orlando and easily ripped off Deborah's gown to get the victory. However, then WWF Commissioner Shawn Michaels came to the ring and said that in his opinion, the winner of the evening gown match should be the one who loses her clothing. And so he gave the win and the title to Deborah. And that was this weekend, wrestling history.
Happy trails. Happy trails. A really happy one, actually, this week to Brie Bella and Daniel. Benoit.
Yeah, that was SummerSlam, whatever.
Wow, that's who was it against?
Someone.
Benoit.
Absolutely no one. Don't worry about it.
No,
the title.
I legitimately did not remember that was who it was.
Of course, the dog's barking in the background too now.
Yeah, well, you said the name that should not be spoke, and it upset them. Yeah, I was like, what's an old match that I remember loving? And I was like, oh yeah, Orton's first title win. And I was like, who was it? Apparently I had wiped it from my mind. So
because they will be kicking off on night one. I believe they're the main event, or if not, they're definitely one of the featured matches for Best of the Super Juniors this year. And it's going to be great. And that match was excellent. And this week sucked. So fuck this week.
Oh my god, what should we watch this week of wrestling?
I'm actually going to suggest Joe versus Rollins from Raw. It's kind of indicative of all the problems we were talking about. It was a solid match. It went, I think, about 15 minutes, actually. It was pretty good, but the crowd just wasn't into it. They couldn't really get the crowd into it. It had a DQ finish. I mean, there were a couple rest spots that was part of it. I think the crowd was distracted at one point. I don't know if a fan was getting kicked out or was in costume or something, but either way, you'd think that would be a pretty good match, and it was solid, which is the word we use for a good match in theory that didn't really have the heat on it. So.
I am going to say something from Japan, and you guys probably have watched this before. 05/11/2013. Anybody know why this is significant?
nope.
Shao, I would be very not surprised if you knew what this was.
What was the date?
May 11th, 2013.
My mind is blanking on me.
Kenta Kobashi's final entrance in ring event. Budokan.
Shit, that's right.
You want some feels? Watch that.
Yeah.
Just as bad as Ric Flair. Just as bad as Ric Flair. Oh my god. At WrestleMania 27. Or WrestleMania 24, rather. The feels, bro. The feels. I mean, even if you haven't watched Kenta Kobashi, and you don't know who Kenta Kobashi is, and you watch this, it's insane. The amount of love that the Japanese people have for this man. So,
honestly, Kenta Kobashi is probably my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time.
Right.
Misawa being number 1, actually.
All right, Meltzer. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Misawa was actually really great. I was just busting your balls. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. SmarkSnark.com, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon. We got other stuff too, but that's really what we're active on. Thank you all for listening. For everybody here, I really appreciate it. So we'll see you next week. Take care. Spike your hair.
Woo, woo, woo.
You'd know it.
Good night, St. Cloud.